Another mysterious death was reported in Goa, this time on the coastal side of Candolim. Mary Gertrude McNamara, 66-year-old Irish national, was found dead in her rented apartment at Candolim.
One Irish lady was found dead in Candolim in her own room, in her own rented room. Her body was discovered by two of her friends. Information was given to us. We have registered a case of unnatural death. The postmortem was conducted yesterday. The reports are awaited, and as per the autopsy report and the statements of her friends, we will carry out further investigation in that matter.
HCN also spoke to the Irish writer and journalist Sinead McManus about this Irish lady's death and how crime rates is high in Goa, especially on aspects and foreigners. Take a look.
Yes, well, listen, let's not jump to conclusions. I only hope that there's nothing mysterious about it and that, maybe it was a natural death. I was very sad to hear this news. I came to know about it last night. And as a fellow Irish lady, I wish I'd known her, as there are not many Irish here in Goa. And when they do come, we tend to look out for each other and keep an eye on each other and hang out with each other and see each other. So it was very sad to hear that she was also alone when she passed away. I'm glad that her neighbour was looking out for her and that he knew to come out of concern. So just so you know that when foreigners do come here to Goa, there is certain groups on Facebook, etc., that they can join. And for example, there's women traveling groups on Facebook, especially for independent or individual ladies who come, and they can join these groups and reach out. The fellow people on the group, they reach out to each other if there's any problems or concerns or anything like that. So as travelers, we should come together and look out for each other and make sure that we've got our own contacts here in Goa that can help us if we need any help.
So moving ahead, what do you think? How do you see Goa at the moment? Because the crime rate is really high, especially on tourists and foreigners. Like recently, we have seen 2 deaths of Russian, then now another Irish lady's death, which still has to be certain what it was. So what do you have to say? Do you think Goa is safe kind of, because as it is known as a touristic destination across the world, do you think Goa is turning into a haunting place for tourists, or what do you feel on the law and order?
Goa is a worldwide destination. Tourists comes from all over the world, and we're known here in Goa as overall it's a very safe place. For me personally, I have lived here for over a decade, and I have never ever once found myself feeling threatened or unsafe. Really, I haven't. But tourists that has to come here and they have to be responsible for themselves. They have to treat Goa as how they would and behave in a way that they behave when they're at home. They need to keep their guard up and ensure that the people that they're meeting are of good character and of good nature. But as I said, rape and crime and robberies, they happen all over the world. So it just so happens that it makes it worldwide news when it happens here in Goa. But it has to come down to the individual traveling to be under guard and not treat Goa as a playground for any illegal activities.
My last question to you will be, ma'am, is that do you think the law and order is, do you think the crime rate should come down, and what do you feel about the law and order in the state?
So I think we also have to look at what's been going on over the last 2 years. COVID has brought the worst out in people. There's been the lack of work, lack of money, health has been affected. There's no income, and I'm sure these things have resulted in frustration and negativity, and which then leads to crime. So I think what the government needs to do. I think the government always needs to have a reality check. Once a year on what they're going to do for the season ahead. And I think what the government needs to do now, looking at things as they are now, is to make sure that there is work for everybody. Tourism does generate a lot of work opportunities, to make sure there's enough work for everybody, that people are getting their income, and to check on the borders for the neighboring states, because a lot of the criminal minded they tend to come to Goa as they see, see tourists are vulnerable here. So, there's a few things I think that the local government, could look at, and I'm sure they are looking at it. But some of these things are what we could do in order to ensure that crime is down here in Goa.